Scott Adams, if matters had taken an alternate turn, might have wound up being a mere companion of convenience for those of my political persuasion. One of the panoply of pundits who merely found themselves on the right because they'd been forsworn by the left. Because much like Trump himself, he wasn't an ideologue, really more of a pragmatist. Indeed, if we compared positions on everything from taxes to terrorism, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there were far more misses in the long run than hits. But beyond his immovable place in pop culture, and the Dilbert cartoon was killer and never should have been canceled, by the way, that isn't what sets Scott apart. Punditry and commentary of any kind is really the art of distillation. People aren't clicking on your post or podcast because they love your beautiful mug, especially not when it looks like me. Nor are they necessarily looking for someone to agree with them. They know the facts, and in the age of the internet, they even have a fair few details already sorted out. What they want is the impartation of the issue, stripped of spin, sublimated to its most primal components, and imbued with emotional and moral import, so they can decide if they agree with you at all. It's more than making cliff notes. People want to weigh the events against their own values, and the easiest way to achieve this is for a gifted commentator to condense it to its most unvarnished, incipient essence. Scott Adams was the Leonardo da Vinci of doing that shit. He wasn't always right. The COVID vaccines spring to mind, but to his credit, he never refused to admit he was wrong. And he never once allowed the issue to entirely exit the frame. In fact, I once watched him admit that he was wrong on COVID vaccines and then repeat it 3 separate times over the course of the same live stream in case they mistook the first two for accident. Even when he was wrong, his understanding of the issue rarely was. I only enjoyed one fleeting, largely irrelevant interaction with Scott, though I'll take the details of that interaction to my grave. But his presence in the political sphere was of incalculable value, and thus his loss, especially so many years before he was actually ready to punch out, is an indescribable catastrophe. When something beyond our ken, a death we can't control, a cataclysm occurs, our subconscious often grasps for mystical resonance and meaning. And I experienced one such event just this morning. I reached up into my cabinet for my BattleTech mug. I began brewing a cup of joe, and as I reached for it, I accidentally bumped a nearby bowl. The mug, which was already sort of on the precipice, plummeted counterward, and you see the final result. No more simultaneous sip. Moments later, I log on, and I learn that there will never be another simultaneous sip again. Fortunately, I have another mug. This one is my absolute favorite, as it's from Sanctuary Rock and Roll Refuge. I don't mean to do a full-on ad pitch or whatever, but it's a Christian metalhead charity out of Tennessee. Shout out to them. The reason why I love it is it says words straight from the book of John. Death is dead. So today, we drink to the funeral of death. For Scott is not dead. He is alive. Here goes. I have it written down here because I do not know this by heart. All you need is a cup, a mug, or a glass, a tankard, chalice, or stein, a canteen, jug, or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee, boy do I, and join me now for the unparalleled pleasure of the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Godspeed, Scott. Rest now.